Hi, Professor Moylan here, and in this micro lecture, I share my 2 cents on what I think you should do to get ready for day one. As I said elsewhere, I think it's really important that you organize your class extremely well. So what used to work maybe needs a little bit more detail and then shared with the students. Then I think once you prepare that syllabus, I think you should share it with the students in a welcome video. That's what I did at the beginning of Spring 2.0. When the students were off on spring break, I pivoted the class, got my welcome back video together, and then shared with them what I thought they, not what I thought, what I was going to tell them that they were going to do in the second half of the semester. I would use a webcam and literally speak to the students. And you might even have two videos. You might have one video that is just you, no slides, no other screen captures, just you talking with the students because this is the first time they've seen you, possibly, unless they've had you in previous semesters. And so you want them to see you and to know what you're about. I mentioned that online class in a separate video, how sometimes online classes that are prepared and meant to be made online are so good. This one in particular, Social Psychology by Dr. Plaus of Wesleyan University. One thing that I found so interesting was he was such an engaging, is such an engaging personality that in the very first video, you got excited about the class and you were looking forward to additional class lectures, and that was because we could see him and his personality came through. I have to admit, I never used webcams in my instructional videos for my students because they knew me. I saw them in class. And so the instructional videos were just something else that they got. But if your students don't know you, and they won't but before day one, that'd be my 2 cents, use a webcam and literally let them see who you are. And then after that, I would literally walk them through the syllabus and break it up and show them absolutely all the details, the ins and outs of how the class is going to be organized. I fear I might say something here that you're going to say, well, I know that. That's kind of obvious. So the rest of this short micro lecture, I'm going to be talking about some of these PowerPoint components that I think you should use to walk them through your syllabus. If you already know this, feel free to stop. But for those of you that, hey, maybe this is stuff you didn't know, here's how I utilized this in my online syllabus. And I'm going to talk about a couple of capabilities in PowerPoint, print screen, and the snipping tool. Print screen, you know how this works. You just hit the print screen button, and then whatever's on your screen, you can paste somewhere. And so I used to use this. I don't use it very much anymore. I used to use this liberally I've got something on my screen and I want to put it on a PowerPoint slide and print screen and boom, paste it into the PowerPoint slide. That's until I used it all the time until I found out about the snipping tool. And surprisingly, some people aren't familiar with the snipping tool. It's been around a while. It's an incredible capability. If you don't have the snipping tool, it's easy to get. And here's what you do. To launch the snipping tool in Windows 10, click the Start button. From the Start menu, expand Windows Accessories and click the Snipping Tool shortcut. Press the Windows key plus R keyboard shortcut, then type Snipping Tool in the Run box and press Enter. You can also launch the Snipping Tool from Command Prompt. And no surprise here, what did I do? I typed Snipping Tool into Google, and this was one of the first things that came up, and I used the Snipping Tool to snip it, paste it in here, and read it to you. I like to use rectangles to cover up content that I don't want the students to see yet. And so the way I get those is in PowerPoint, I click on the Insert, Shapes, and then I select the rectangle. By the way, those three ovals I got those the same way, insert shapes, but then I used the oval right next door, and I had no fill, and then I made the outline real fat. And so I use that as a method of obviously pointing out things that are on screen. Now, if I were going to be walking the students through my syllabus, this is too much stuff on the screen all at one time. And so what I want to do is cover up what I'm not talking about. And so what I do is I use rectangles to cover them up. So I simply create that rectangle, insert shape, rectangle. Of course, I don't want it to be that goofy purple color. So what I do, because sometimes white is maybe a little bit whiter than whatever I've copied, and so I just use the capability to, touch the eyedropper thing and get the color there, and then put it in the middle of the rectangle. And so that's what I did there. I just, used it against the a blank spot on the syllabus there. Now I've got my rectangle and I just stretch it out to cover. So here, I don't want to talk about the bottom part of this page of the syllabus, so I cover that up. When I'm ready to talk about the next part, I created a second rectangle and just put it at the top and another rectangle at the bottom, and so on. And I'll show you those rectangles. They look all white here, but there I made it yellow, yellow, yellow. A really simple capability, and again, that's why I was a little bit concerned about maybe telling you what you already knew. But in case you didn't, that's a useful tool. Day one, you want to wow your students on day one, and I think a good, strong instructional video of you walking through the syllabus can help you do that.